So, Ashley, please tell us more about this mayonnaise phobia of yours.
Yeah.
Did
So
did mayonnaise kill one of your parents, or was
no, it did not kill one of my parents,
Oh,
but
that's good. Okay.
it did make me sick a good bit when I was younger because it would be left out.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no.
What is it with
Belongs
some
in
of the
the
older
fridge.
generations that they would leave food out? My Beth's father would just leave everything sitting out for like days,
I
and there'd be something
know.
growing on it, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's okay," and he'd still eat it.
Just
I
cut
know.
it off.
And rice. Rice is another thing that they will leave out too. And I'm like, that's the most terrible
Like-
thing to leave out.
Like cooked rice?
Yeah.
That holds a lot of moisture. That's not a good idea.
Yes. So yeah, I have some food phobias. I really don't eat rice in containers unless I know I personally cooked it, just because of that reason, and mayonnaise.
Welcome everybody to Food Phobias with Ashley.
You came for TCF, you got food phobia.
You all missed before the show started. Ashley took me out for a solid 5 minutes when she said, "I'm afraid of mayonnaise." I'm terrified of mayonnaise.
Yeah. So, anyways, on that note, welcome
Yeah.
to Sidebar, everybody.
Very much on topic. How are you guys?
Well-
How's everyone?
We're doing
Yep.
great. I think it's a beautiful day. I tried to make
Yes,
it a
it
good
is.
day this morning in our chat, where I'm like, let's have another exciting day of excitedness. You're like, actually, Dan, what
it is
we really
7
want
a.m.
is
I
like
need you down
we want a calm, peaceful day. We don't want any excitement.
I think there was too much excitement on Wednesday, and everybody
Yeah.
just wanted a down day. I think maybe.
No
That's how
down
I
days in
read.
TCF. It's
Ah,
like crying in baseball. You can't have crying in baseball. You
No
can't have down
crying in
days in
baseball.
TCF.
that's true.
All right. And we can transition to this off of what you said, because the only thing that might be more terrifying than mayonnaise would be multiple DUI offenders. See what I did there?
Yes, I'm terrified of them too.
I'm a
They're all
professional.
around
I
you.
totally brought that back around.
was
I love it.
award-winning transition right there.
By the way, if you're looking for the real professional, Michael may join us later. We'll see. So yeah, the other day in Judge Stevens' court, we saw somebody get sentenced who had 5 DUIs. And somehow this guy got off with a 10-year probation and 180 days to serve, but only on weekends. And as long as he has an interlock and all those things, there's still the possibility for him to drive later.
Yep.
So the question becomes, at what point is
District.
this kind of person just a public safety emergency? At what point do we have to do something drastic? At what point should the plea deals and the reoffending and all of that just go out the window and somebody get put away? You know, how many one more chances should somebody get? And I'd like to start off the discussion with this, and it's the same point I made the other day, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed. In the 4th hour, we went through this. And what I suggested, and I believe this, is that unless there's some kind of massive situation where you've got a serious injury or, heaven forbid, a death or serious property destruction, something like that, I'm kind of the opinion that with a DUI, the first one should probably be in that slap on the wrist territory, because it's very easy for somebody to go to a restaurant, have dinner, have a couple of glasses of wine. They fail to use their turn signal. They get pulled over. They blow a .09. And should that necessarily wreck their world? I'm not so convinced.
Right.
However, I think that would go out the window if somebody seriously got hurt, or it was a clear, like a not a, okay, you were at dinner and you screwed up because you didn't realize how much you drank, but you blow like a .2 or something like that. There can be exceptions to that rule, but I think for the most part, the first one should probably be a little bit of a mulligan with some penalty box for a little bit, pay your fines, do some community service, whatever. But I'm kind of thinking that on the second one, you ought to not be able to drive anymore. And if you're caught driving after that, perhaps you need to do 10 years. That's kind of where I'm at. But I'd be curious what all of your thoughts are, because I think we were all pretty disgusted at
Yeah.
this person and what they did. And I don't think any of us were overly satisfied with his punishment in the end. But I don't want to speak for you.
No.
What do you think?
I was definitely not happy with the 180 days weekends after the 5th DUI like that. That was just, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the fact that they let him do weekend jail.
Yep.
I mean, I don't generally like weekend jail as a construct, but in this case, I'm like, well, like that's when most people tend to tie one on, is the weekends. He's got 2 years of screwed up weekends. I mean, maybe that's its own kind of punishment. Like he gets a little bit of normalcy, then back in, a little bit of normalcy and back in. But as an idea, I don't like the idea of a sometime sentence. Like I think if you're getting jailed, just get it. Just you get it done.
I agree with Lindsay. I think the reason for weekend jail is just because they don't want to derail somebody's work in life.
Yep.
And I understand that concept. However, I don't think it's for a 5th-time offender.
No,
I don't think that should be offered to them. I think that should be for maybe the 2nd time, but not the 5th time. That doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, and you can't even make an argument that this was like, a recent development or some kind of short-lived thing. I mean, the guy had convictions over 40 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And DUIs, I think, all the way back to 1990, I think was the first one.
85 was the first one.
85.
And then 85, 88, sometime in the 90s, another one in the 90s, and then
Yeah,
What-
it was 40 years of drinking.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So the guy has a problem.
He's not going to change anytime soon. I'm sorry. 40
I mean-
years of doing something for that long and being that old.
Or,
Actually,
you have to serve 180 days somewhere. Maybe we look at 180 days of rehab.
Yep.
Yes, like inpatient rehab. Like they can't leave rehab.
No.
Yes.
But if you leave rehab,
agree with
it's
that one.
immediate straight to jail, and you stay in jail,
Yeah.
and then they take you back to rehab. Like you don't have the,
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely disagree with the weekend jail sentence.
And as for my opinion, is how many DUIs is too much. I think they should be shot down after 2. So I think they should have maybe 2 chances, maybe, if barring any kind of serious circumstance, like not killing somebody or something like that. Of course, that would change things. That would
Or
be,
the super high, the 0.23.
super drunk.
The super drunk.
yeah, those
Yep.
circumstances. But I think 2, like if it's more than 2, then I think it's a lapse, not just a lapse in judgment. It's more like a stupidity type thing to let them keep going like that.
So the chat is ablaze much more than what we normally see this early in the show.
New names. Welcome to Sidebar,
Barbara disagree with you, Dan, and I can understand that, Barbara, and you're allowed to. I guess my point, though, is that I think I'm taking a harder line than most.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying you get one shot at messing up, because we've all been there. I don't care who you are. You've gone out to dinner, you've had a couple of drinks, and you felt fine, and you got in the car and you drove home, and 99.9% of the time we were fine and we've made it. However, again, you do some stupid little thing like forget to use your turn signal and you get pulled over and you blow barely over. This, quite honestly, what is essentially an arbitrary number, and you know why everybody's at 0.08. It's because the federal government ties road funding to it. Did you all know that?
No.
If your state doesn't mandate a 0.08, you don't get the federal funding for the highways.
It's also part of why the drinking age is 21. They tied it with that too.
That is also a factor.
I
Why
knew
it's
about
not
the
18
drinking
anymore.
age.
Yeah.
So but what I'm saying, Barbara, is that once you get past that one, And I'm not saying you should go without punishment. I'm saying
Yep.
you shouldn't lose your life and your license and your everything else over it.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
definitely
saying
a
after,
fine or
yeah, but I'm
you know,
saying after
service.
that, you're like, okay, you're on alert now. You need to pay more attention. And at that point, it's up to you to be better about how you handle yourself. Hey, Mikey's here.
Hi, Mike.
Michael.
Hello.
Hi.
On location.
Yeah,
I see that.
TCF
So let me-
on
let me
He's in
finish
the
my-
field. He's in
Let me
the
finish
field.
my point real quick, and then we'll see what Mike's got to say.
Yes.
But Barbara now says, nope, one and done. Comments won't be read.
Huh?
What do you mean by that, Barbara? I'm reading your comments.
Yep.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think Barbara and I are in a little bit of a tiff, Michael, because I believe for a DUI, perhaps we get super tough after the first one. We do the slap on the wrist the first time, but after the second time, you don't drive anymore. At the third time, you go to jail for 10 years. But that's just me. What are your thoughts, Michael?
I'm in agreement with that. I definitely agree with that, Dan. I think, the thing about DUI is that you can get one even technically, you don't have to blow a .08. I mean, you can get a .075 and still technically get busted for one. It's just that, you might not necessarily get the DUI charge. You might get a reckless driving or a careless driving or, but you'll still probably get some kind of infraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got one supporter there. Actually, I don't think you guys are all that unaligned from my thoughts on this either.
I don't
but
think so.
but when we get to the point where it's so extreme, when we get to the point where we have somebody that's done this a couple of times, let alone 5, I don't think that we're punishing quite hard enough. I don't understand why somebody who has shown that they can't fix themselves is still allowed to drive. Because let's take our
Yeah.
Stevens guy here at 40 years going through this.
Yeah.
He's not changing. I know, Lindsay, you'd mentioned like the idea of rehab and stuff, and that might work for some. It ain't working for him.
Yeah, that's
No.
true.
Not
I think
not
you
a
could
chance.
throw all the rehab and all the classes you have on the books at him, and it still wouldn't change.
His mind's made up. Yep, for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
sad
there's
to
pro-
see that.
There's probably a physical dependency for it now.
Yep.
Mhm.
I did think, I just thought of something too, and I just looked up, like, what happens if you get a DUI in Europe? And Germany popped up because they're famously very strict on this. And the consequences in Germany, a DUI can lead to a fine of 90 days' wages and high legal fees. Poland and other countries also impose steep fines. You can get your license suspended. Sometimes you get your vehicle confiscated. So they're far more strict about this in other places, and maybe this is the freedom of it all here in the US that we just kind of get the slap on the wrist and you have to keep driving. And things I thought about on the train ride home too is like, well, in a lot of places too, if you don't have the ability to drive, you are kind of SOL. And I think
Yep.
maybe that's why you do see slightly more lenient consequences. And not saying I agree with it. I'm more saying this is why, not this is like why you should, but this is why it is because we are just such a car and vehicle dependent society that, judges are maybe nervous to really kind of slew foot someone in that way.
Yeah. Barbara, thank you for the 5, but I think you're not hearing my full point, respectfully. My full point is, if we're talking about a low BAC situation, if we're talking about nobody's been hurt, then I think it needs to come across as a slap on the wrist warning to just change the behavior.
Yep.
If somebody is hurt, if there's significant property damage, is somebody so drunk that they fall out of their car, if we're talking about stuff like that, then yes, harsher punishments for sure straight away. But what we're doing right now, Barbara, doesn't work. That guy who went through Stevens Court, if he has an interlock and once he's done with his 180 days, he'll be right back out on the road. It doesn't fix
Yep.
anything. I'm talking about for the vast majority of people, I think that one time through, without ruining their lives, but making it clear it'll ruin your life next time, is probably sufficient.
And I don't
And-
think any of us are saying that at that first time you don't receive any punishment. You know,
Right.
let's
Correct.
pay a fine. Let's do some community service. Let's have something happen. You know, because there's still a decision made, you know, one way or another. But I'm saying, I think I agree with Dan. It shouldn't be like a once because you ordered a beer at dinner that was a 6.7 ABV and you didn't realize it, and then you roll through a stop sign and it's over.
Well, and she just says, I feel the same if you're above the legal limit. Well, and I get that, but then there's the whole question of how do we come across the legal limit? Who is the soothsayer, the arbiter of truth, who decided that 08 was the number for everybody, especially when everybody's bodies are different? And we've seen that.
Well, remember, it used to be 0.10.
Yeah. And it got lowered because the feds decided that that's the number it needed to be. And now your road funding is partially tied to that. If you don't enforce 08, you're not going to get the money from the feds.
All right. Per the Googles, the 0.08 BAC was adopted in the
Just
US.
like the legal.
Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say, just like the legal drinking age, you know, it used to be 18, 19, depending on the state. And then, you know, it was all tied to the highway funds. The government basically said, hey, you can set it whatever you want. We ain't going to give you the highway funds unless the federal funding, unless it's 21 and, you know, under 0.10. So, and then 0.08 eventually.
My dad was part of that group that turned 18 was legal. And then before he turned 21, got it taken away because they changed it.
My mom was the same.
Anyway, they said it because research from the National Highway Transit Safety Authority and other organizations confirmed that nearly all drivers are substantially impaired at this level, experiencing reduced coordination, slower reaction times, and poor judgment. You know, take the facts with maybe a couple shakes from the salt shaker, but that is what is out there saying why it's 0.08.
Yeah.
And fair enough. But, you know, as we know, everybody will react differently. We've seen some people, they have one beer and there's that time they're talking like this, where others can have a 12-pack and they're fine. So, you know, it's different for everybody. But we could definitely get in the weeds on that sort of thing and the arguments about numbers and everything else as far as what would qualify as drunk driving.
Right.
But I think the bigger issue is how many chances we seem to give people, regardless of how we define what drunk driving is.
It shouldn't be 4.
No.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable. That is ridiculous. I don't know how they were able to even plea it down. What was it like? I feel like that he played something down, but I can't remember what it was. It was one of his prior ones that he pled down or something.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like,
it was like the first one that should have been a felony. He got it pled down.
Yeah. It was his fifth DUI. 3 of them wound up being misdemeanors. Only 1 was a felony.
Yeah.
Got it.
Unreal.
Okay.
So I just looked it up. A 5th DUI in Texas is a 3rd-degree felony. So it carries 2 to 10.
It carries 2 to 10 and he got 180 days. Oh,
well, he got 10. He got 10-year
probation.
probation, so they probated it to the 10 years.
It shouldn't be allowed.
And then what Stevens said was under probation, the most jail time he could give him was 180 days.
Yep.
This shouldn't be allowed. He shouldn't be on probation then.
He got to do what I love, and that's the jailcation, where he just does it on the weekends.
Jail.
Yep.
Yes, I know.
Which we were talking about this before you came on, Michael. Like, as much as it irritates me, I also kind of enjoy the fact that it's really ruining 2 years of his life. You know, like the stop and start, like the little taste of normal.
It's 90 days. It's 90 weeks.
Yeah,
because
90 weeks.
Only counts 2 days. We had a discussion about whether or not the Friday counted, and it does not. So it's just the 2 days. So it's 90 weeks that it's going to take
Yeah.
for him
Yeah.
to do 180 days. It's kind of crazy.
If
Well,
I was a judge,
fundamentally
I would
disagree
not
with it. I
allow
kind
that.
of like the petty part of me likes, yeah, but you're really getting 90 weeks of your life just effed up, man. Good luck. with
If
that.
I was a judge, I would be. I feel like this would be Judge Boyd's stance, and she would say, "No, serve your time and be done with it."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's how I would take it too.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Steven gave him the 180 to do over the weekends, because he's got a 40-year history of this.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he's not
And-
going to quit on his own, though I will say, I was going to say if you put him in jail, maybe he would actually dry out, but if you put him in jail, he might die
True.
Yep.
if he's become
Oh,
that
that's
dependent
true.
on it. And then the jail over that time is really going to have to work to support him medically to
Yeah.
get him through that, which is maybe what he needs.
Yeah.
But it's not good.
I know it's not good, but it's not the greatest. It's not an excuse, though. I mean, if I became dependent on alcohol and I would die if I didn't have it, I would want to be treated like everybody else, though, to be honest. So, but I know he's not like that, but
No. So
I don't want to be
I-
an exception. And he seems like an exception to me. I don't like it.
yeah, don't
Yep,
be an
and you could
exception, be
almost-
exceptional.
Yeah.
The
There
one
you
thing
go.
I noticed about it as Stevens was sentencing him is it looked like you could see it play in Stevens' mind first. The 180 days. It looked like he was going to do. First, it looked like he was going to give him the max. Then the plea came in. He took the plea. Then it looked like he was going to get that 180 days. And then all of a sudden, it turned to 180 days over the weekends. And it was just like,
Judge Stevens is way too lenient on this one. He needs to tighten this up.
it's like he
this is
started
not
out real
acceptable.
tough and then it just kept dropping and dropping.
Yeah. I don't know why he has for this guy. I don't know why he accepted this. This
Well,
is not.
he's
Not-
one of those
yeah.
guys that he's one of those guys that will give you a harsh lecture, and you think he's about to bring down the hammer, and then he just kind of shakes your hand, pats you on the back, and says, "Let's go to dinner." And I'm very
He's-
disappointed.
He's done that
Yes.
before, right? Yeah, with that other one. Yes. You're
Yep.
right, Mike. Yes, he's done this a couple of times before.
Well, he seems to have cases and certain things that he's more understanding of.
Yep.
And but again, I guess I can get behind that to a point. But honestly, if this was a first DUI, it wouldn't be in his court. He'd be
That's true.
across the hall
true.
with Judge Rubber Gloves,
Hmm.
That's true.
you know? So if it's elevated to the point where he's in this court, then there's a serious problem here. Yeah, that's the funny thing with Stevens is he's mentioned before that he said everything we deal with in this court is serious.
Right.
He said that, but then and you almost made a Stevens face there, Lindsay. That was kind of mean. But he said that, but then he doesn't necessarily treat it like that all the time. At least not in my opinion.
Voluntarily.
Jeff,
Yep.
First Thing County.
I don't know. We could do a whole sidebar just on Stevens for sure.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: the guy's at 5 now. The state law is it's a 3rd degree felony, so 2 to 10. What should he have gotten?
2 to 10.
Like
And I would
actual
lean
time,
closer
like
to the
actual time
10.
to serve is what you're saying.
Because
Yes.
remember, Judge West had someone that was like on number 8 or 9, and I think that's a video that's up on this channel.
It is, yeah.
And I think she gave that guy like 10 years or something, if I remember right.
Actually, I think that was elevated even higher. I want to say he got 20. I could be wrong.
Oh, I
It was
think that's
it was
because there
10
was an
years, but
accident.
there was some technicality that bumped it to 20.
Yes,
so
was
I
it their
think-
bodily
Yeah, I
injury or
think
something?
there
I
was
think that's what it was.
there was some sort of accident with it or a serious bodily injury, because I remember there was like victim impact with that too.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's
Mm.
right. I remember that. But
So I think he should serve past 5. It
that's
like
fair.
like maybe 5, maybe 8. I don't know, like in that range. I don't think with 40 years of this stuff, I don't think he should be on the lower end. I think he should be on the higher end, and I don't think probation should be effective here. That's
So
I
remind
don't-
me,
mhm.
was there any damage? Like, what were the circumstances that he got pulled over? Like, did he cause an accident?
I don't know that they got into the
Okay.
specifics in the
say.
sentencing hearing,
For
other
No.
than
yeah.
I don't think there was any injury involved, or we would have
Yeah.
heard that.
He had
Yeah.
a .235 though.
Right,
That's
I
what
remember
I saw
that.
that
Yep.
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of it for me too. It's like I think a lot of this too is very situational. Like, absolutely get some punishment.
Yep.
But I think there's a big difference between like you were weaving in traffic and got pulled over with a 235. Yeah, then you get like the 2 to 10, but you go out with a 235 and cause a wreck, property damage. There's a whole different set of sentencing guidelines there that I think you would get. But
I mean, if he did harm somebody or something happened, it wouldn't be under that same guideline.
yeah, yeah.
So that's just why my
Yeah.
mind gravitates to a
Right.
heavier side. Big,
Yeah.
not
No, I
the lower
agree.
side.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
My
Well,
brain
like,
just
we
went back
know
to the
that-
general question of like, okay, so we have like someone's on their 5th DUI, like what sentence should they get? I'm like, well, I think there's a few other factors you need to like multipliers you need to situate in there as well. So
Mhm.
Well, remember in Stevens Court not that long ago, there was somebody that was, I don't think they were impaired by alcohol. I think it was the drugs, right? But there was someone died, and they were looking at a manslaughter charge,
Yes, yeah.
and that one was, and that was another one where I think they only had one previous driving under the influence conviction, but they were looking at obviously a 2nd degree felony because somebody died, and then I think they even fled the scene, and that wasn't that long ago. That was a case maybe just a couple of months ago. So
yeah, I think I remember that one.
and that was one where he was talking about getting the guy help, and I mean empathy is great, and I'm all for empathy, but I think there's that fine line: empathy, punishment, a little of both. That was a very tough case there.
And I hate to say it, I think empathy goes out the window after
Yeah.
a certain amount of offenses.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I think so, because I've been sitting here thinking about this as you guys have been chatting, and I think that for this guy, he's on number 5. He blew a 235 on his 5th time through this. He's ruined his own life.
Yeah.
He's choosing, he's trying at that point to destroy his life. So I'm kind of the opinion at that point that we help him finish that journey and go ahead and put him in for the 10 years rather than probate it for 10, because
agree.
he's telling you, I want my life to not be good. Just
Yeah,
through his
I
own
don't want him to
behavior.
ruin other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's already ruined his own. Why does he care about other people's lives in the process? And I hate that sounds harsh, but I feel like that's how his mindset is. If he's out there, he knows he has an issue, and driving while he's intoxicated. I think
Yeah. And if you're drinking that heavily for that long, you've long since passed to the point where this is something you're doing for fun or enjoyment or
Yep.
pleasure. You
I
know,
mean,
there's
Probably has to
2,
do it to get
3,
out of bed.
2, 3, 5 is just. I can't even conceive of that much alcohol without being seriously ill or dead. I mean,
I
I
would be
just
dead.
can't.
I would be
Yeah.
past dead at that
Yeah.
point. Yes, it's a horror. It's not good for him
All
either.
would be
to
drunk.
It's not good for him either to be. It's a risk for him behind the wheel, and it's a risk for others. So, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who's definitely got other issues going on, and he's, at some point, maybe he was doing it for fun or a cope or whatever, but it just becomes a physical necessity.
Yeah.
It doesn't
but-
give him an excuse to drive, though, Dan.
No, it does not. I was just
Yeah.
about to say
Yeah.
that his physical necessity does not mean that he gets a get out of jail free card.
No.
Correct.
Two things can be true at once. He can get himself to the point where he's drinking because his body requires it, but it can also be true that means he doesn't get to do things like everybody else does.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age, you have Ubers, you have Lyfts, you have all those people, you have those resources. No, I don't give them any excuse. I'm sorry.
No, I don't either.
I mean,
No, none of
you
us
can
do.
do your classes and rehabs and AA and all. You can do all that stuff on Zoom now. I mean, there's really no excuse.
Yep.
Yeah. They're 24 hours a day. There's a meeting happening somewhere on the internet to talk you through it all.
So I'm sensing some things in the chat that I kind of want to address here for a minute, if I may. So, like Tim just said, and why give someone a second chance to hurt someone? And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
However, and I'm coming to you as somebody who has alcoholics in the family, so we know the issues that can be there. I myself can take it or leave it, but I will tell you I'm scary good at it. Like I can pound them down and you'll never know it on me. And I know that about myself, which is why I don't go pound them down, because I'll get myself into a bad situation. So, know thyself. There's something to be said for that. But let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to take a side here, but I am devil's advocating a little bit, I suppose. The 5 DUI guy aside, the extreme cases aside, why is it that we've worked ourselves up into such a frenzy, into such a fervor over this crime, but others will just go, eh? Because there's a whole bunch of other things out there that we can do that risk hurting people. And we don't treat them with as much hatred, as much vile hatred as we do this one. And I'm just asking why. What is it about this? Especially again, and the 5 DUI guy aside, go for the guy who blows a 0.1 because he had two glasses of wine at dinner. Why should he be so villainized? I'm just asking.
Well, and
I don't know the answer.
I'll add this, Dan. We're supposed to be. I mean, what is our prison system designed for, or our justice system designed for? I mean, is it punishment? Is it rehabilitation? Is it punitive? Is it, what's the purpose? If not, maybe a little of all the above, sure, but a lot of things, I think, as even Judge Stevens said, you can fix it. There's redemption. There's a possibility. There's a path to rehabilitation. And I think that should always be number one in anything that we do. But, some things can't be rehabilitated. But drinking absolutely can be. Drugs can be. Gambling, any sort of addiction can be. It really depends on, but even murder, I think, depending on the circumstance, maybe there can be a redemption arc there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why some people say, oh, we can't rehabilitate people that drink and drive. When I think that might be the easiest one.
Well, yeah, and you're assuming an addiction there too, Michael. Just because
Yeah.
you've been picked up with the first DUI doesn't mean that you're an addict. That's why I
Right.
keep throwing out the example of you had 2 glasses of wine at dinner. It was your birthday.
Right.
You went
Yeah.
out
Right.
for a
And
nice
I was
meal.
just kind of using that as a general example. But yeah,
And that
true.
was kind of the example that I laid out too, is like you go to your restaurant you go to every Friday night, and instead of the Miller Lite that's like a barely above a glass of water, you try this new one that's on the menu, and suddenly it's a 6.7 ABV, and you have
I
a
get
totally
that.
normal relationship with alcohol. You're
Yep.
totally capable of being a one and done, but that one's a little stronger than usual, and then you roll through a stop sign, and there it goes.
Yep.
Are
It
you in
goes.
danger? Not necessarily of repeating that behavior in that moment, maybe a little bit, and that's why I do enough. But are you probably going to do it again? No, you've definitely got the fear of some deity put in you, and you're going to straighten up and fly right and think, oh, next time. Are there people that wouldn't stop them? No, but that's where that safety net, that second one comes in. It's like, okay, now we already got you once, and we gave you the the pass of like, hey, maybe you just had the stronger one on special that night or what have you. And
No.
yeah, I'm sorry,
But
but you get
so-
where I'm going.
But what?
And I say this as someone in recovery too, who never had a normal relationship with alcohol. Like there are people
Right.
that
I mean,
totally do.
Of all people that can speak about this with certainly some credibility behind what they say, I mean, Lindsay is
Yeah.
has been there. And
Yeah.
but I mean, again, yeah, you're right. You don't have to be an addict to be caught up in this situation. In fact,
Yeah.
most people that get caught up in this aren't. I mean, that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important for the audience to understand too, because I'm taking a bit of a line on this myself, is that I'm the guy who, if you watch this channel long enough, will know that I am not in favor of substance use. I'm
Yeah.
just not. I'm not the guy who thinks it's okay to just go out and drink all you want. I'm not at all in favor of drugs, and that includes marijuana. And y'all can fight me and argue with me on that all you want, but I believe this stuff can be destructive. So if even I'm saying that, hey, if it's a no harm, no foul first time situation, let's cut somebody a break and teach them a proper lesson, but not ruin their life. But if the 5-time guy does it, he needs to just go away forever.
Yeah.
And when we're saying
That's
cutting a break, we're not just saying, hey, you were
Yeah.
bad and that's the end of it. I mean, still there should be classes and there should be awareness and there should be some
A
punitive
fine,
nature. But
points on your
right.
license,
Yep.
something
Yep.
that shows up.
Yeah,
when
fine
you get
points,
pulled.
community service,
right.
Yeah.
a class.
Something
But
that makes the average
losing-
person stop and think.
Or losing your regular license and having it one of those
Oh, the Utah licenses.
you go to work
Oh, yeah, the restricted
work
license.
only or classes
Yeah,
PO whatever.
yeah.
I can't think of what that license is called at the moment.
Restricted?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Some call it an occupational license.
Yes,
Oh, I've heard
that's
that
the
too,
one,
yeah.
one
Yes.
I'm thinking of.
Yep. No, I guess what we're getting at here
Mm-hmm.
is that how, at least in the courts that we watch, how we're currently handling this is wrong probably on all levels.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's wrong for the first one. It's wrong for the second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole system is not punishing at a proportionate level. I
Yeah,
think is
right, I
kind of
agree.
what we're getting at here.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
it's
I agree.
it is wrong. Plea deals are for certain cases. It's not for the fifth cases.
Mhm.
yeah.
Especially
No,
one that good that he got.
Yeah,
well,
no, he really
well,
did.
well, the first, second, third, and fourth time, he's like, "Well, I've gotten light on these, so why can't I get light on the fifth time?" And
Yep.
it set such a bad precedence.
There was
Yeah.
the one that I think for this particular guy, he said like, yeah, he did. It's like like a certain number of years of probation that he completed, and he took the classes and yada yada yada. But then he still picked it all up a few years later, just right back where he started. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that was the 2010 and
Yeah.
or 14.
yeah,
Yeah.
the most
Well, he
recent-
admitted to being an alcoholic too. That was the crazy
Yeah.
part, and you know,
Yeah.
He
there is
admitted
a
it in the strangest
self-awareness.
way. He admitted it
Yeah.
in the strangest way. He's like,
Yeah.
I haven't had a problem with this since May 17th, which is the day of that offense. Like,
But I suppose
the
I
problem
am. I
is
mean, I
still
guess
there.
I reckon I am though. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
I think
also
that even
admit
caught
that I have
Stevens.
a problem, which is why I just don't do it anymore. You know?
Well, let me throw this out here without naming names, because I won't do that to my family. We do have one family member who kind of matches this guy as far as his proclivity for drinking.
Mhm.
He's very much dependent on it. He has to have it. He would probably die without it.
Okay.
But you know what this family member also does not do?
Drive.
Try.
Yep.
yeah,
And hasn't
Yep.
for decades.
that's the thing.
Um,
That's the thing. You can do whatever your habit is. Just don't put other people in danger. Just put, like, if you want to like stay home and and drink, or go out to a bar and get a Uber or a Lyft, that's fine. But you should know better than to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say I've got personal issues with the choice that he's making because I think it affects family and friends in other ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will give credit for the fact that he does not drive.
Yeah.
So, 2 thumbs up for that, a whole bunch of thumbs down for the rest of it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Yep.
but I guess my point is he adjusted his life. Barbara, I never said you have to drink and drive. Not once. Did I say that, chat or panel, at any point? Am I missing something?
No,
Barbara,
don't
I
believe
get
you
where
did.
this is firing you up, and you and I will still be friends, but I never said that. I never said that you have to drink and drive. What I'm saying is that the way we're currently punishing it at every level is wrong.
Yep.
And I agree with you. Because, and this is why I threw out that example of the family member that we have. He does not drive because he knows that he's chosen this path where he needs to drink himself silly. Whatever, but at least he's made that choice. And in our Stevens example, that guy could have made that choice. But, he's choosing not to, and the law should step in, and it should step in way harsher than what it already has.
And earlier.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and earlier. The fact that we've even got to 5 is ridiculous. That's why I said my path would be, if Dan were ruler of the world, the first one, assuming no mitigating factors like an injury or extreme blow or something like that, is the let's correct the behavior punishment. The second one is a you're not driving anymore, tacked on to whatever. And the third one is 10 years minimum.
Yep.
That is where I would go with it and shut it down.
Yeah.
But I will also say, if you kill somebody, that's life without parole straight away, as it should be. And I think that's the case I don't know, because it's vehicular manslaughter most of the time. I know they've tried to prosecute some of them as murders in different places, but it's the vehicular manslaughter that really sticks,
Yeah.
which is usually like a 25 to life kind of situation. But
I love that the
I'm not-
implication is that the car is the one that did the killing and not the person operating the car. But yeah.
yeah. All right, somebody else say something. I've talked too much.
The host was talking. Oh my god.
I know. Well, it's a panel show. You can listen to
Well-
me yell and scream during the 4th hour of the regular show.
If we want to sidebar this and talk about why a plea bargain was made on a 5th offense, we could go that way.
I would.
The other
love to
thing
go
I
that
think
way.
I would
Yeah.
be curious to talk about is, okay, then we lay down some of these punishments of you don't get to drive anymore. Enforcing that is rather tricky. I think we see how many cases a day where driving without a license, unlawful use of a motor vehicle. Like,
And even if you
we can
throw
be as punitive as we want, but like,
Right.
how does the enforcement really come
Well,
into
the
play?
enforcement's going to get easier by default as we
Yeah, that's
continue to
true.
develop, because these cars have got cameras in them that are looking at you all the time.
very true.
We are
terrifying.
just around the corner from a time where your car is going to look at you and say, no, you're not driving because you're not authorized. And that's a very big brother. And I hate it, but it's coming.
Face
That
ID to
rental
start your
vehicle we had when we took our vacation back in late October had cameras on me.
Are we still calling that a vacation? Because that didn't end very vacation-y for you.
Well, it was mostly a
trip.
vacation. I got to see my daughter's wedding, and it was
an even trickier word, Austin.
it was
Oh,
great.
gosh.
And it was great until the last night.
Yeah.
We'll just put it that way.
Trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
No, I get it. And,
It was
I'd
great
very
until
much-
it wasn't.
I'd very
Yes.
much like to try again next fall.
You
And
should.
So we're gonna work
Again
for
with the
that.
word fall, guys.
Autumn, next autumn.
Okay, autumn then.
Good Lord. But
Play on words.
But anyways, I was going to say that car, I looked over at Beth to tell her something as we were going down the highway, and apparently I did that for 1 second too long. It started beeping at me, flashing this alert to look at the road.
Yeah.
So it knows they know you. So I think the keeping people from driving solves itself in a lot of ways as the technology continues to build. That's all I was going to say.
So 20 years from now, we won't see nearly as many of these unlawful uses.
If people
unless
use
it's-
new cars, they
Yeah.
still get away with the old ones. But yeah.
Now my brain is just thinking like a tapping into like driver registration databases where like you finger tap in and it says, nope, they don't have a license. I'm not even going to start.
Yeah, and if they get to a place
probably
like
not
you
that
can't
far
you
from
can't renew your tag
see
without
that.
having these things installed in your car, I'm done then. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just
At
like,
that point, I'm
tapping
probably told to drive anyway.
I hope they don't do that, but yeah.
My
I'm the
thought
world's
is
most reluctant driver to begin with anyway, so take my license. I don't care.
my thought is, what if the manufacturers somehow put all the intoxilizer in on the front end when they build the car,
Oh, they're already doing that.
and then
Everyone
it
comes
somehow
with
can
it.
read what, like your sweat or
Oh.
something.
They're
That's a
working
good
on that.
idea.
When
They're
you roll
working
the
on
wheel.
that tech. They're working on that tech where they can sense it through your hands.
So
the
like a
pressure
scram
in your
device
hands.
Yep.
in your vehicle. Careful with your hand sanitizer and your hair dye.
That
boy,
would
yep.
solve everything.
And
Yeah?
be incredibly big brother.
Yeah.
But it would
I'm
solve the
Glad that by the
driving?
time this is in vehicles, I will probably not be here
Yeah.
anymore, period, but definitely not be driving.
If we're to that point, that's the point where the car is also going to lock you in and say, we're taking you to the police station. And then it drives you there.
I don't think so, Dave.
Oh my. That's something I need to think about.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay.
Just a dark.
Not like I'm
dystopian
planning
turn.
to drink and drive anytime soon, but that's kind of scary how much control they would have if that happened.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh, it's already there. I mean, if
yeah.
you have OnStar in your vehicle, if you have any of the Tesla products, different cars, they can just shut you down remotely.
I'll stick with my 2008 Corolla.
Yep.
It's all right.
Oh yeah, no, my favorite car is an old car for sure. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now.
I'll stick with the
old is it?
Rambler.
How old is old? How old are
Rambler.
we talking here?
All right, we sidebarred the sidebar of sidebar.
We did.
So
It was
that
a
good.
relevant conversation.
It was.
It tied in.
Yeah. How could the
But
tech eventually, help alleviate this problem? Like, we don't even get to the point where they're getting sentenced for the 5th time.
And then in regards to
go.
Yep.
regards to plea deals, I think that's easier said than done. And that's
Mhm.
just because of the space in the prisons as it stands right now. If you would implement something like that, it would be even worse.
Yeah.
So there would
the
be
hard
have
part
to be
is with a
something
lot
like
of these-
gives.
With a lot of these plea deals too, now you have the precedent of, in State versus, Joe Jones, he only got 5 years and 3 years of it was probated in this. So you have a lot of precedent for these things with these
Yeah.
plea deals too,
Yeah.
which is tough.
And
But
I could
I-
see this being a low, if it's a non-crash DUI, non-injury DUI, I could see them being
Yeah.
one of the first ones that they start letting out when the population gets too high.
Yeah. Yeah. You're here because you rolled the stop sign. Yeah. You're.
Yep.
I
You're done.
get it.
Yeah.
Do we just need an island for repeat DUI offenders?
I believe that's called Key West.
Or if you're thinking fictionally, it's Azkaban. But yes.
I was just gonna say Florida because
Very
I
nice,
grew up
Lindsay.
in
I'm here for the
where
levity
it was
tonight, guys.
constant.
Good for you.
I'm trying
Oh,
really
man.
hard. I'm trying so hard.
The island of misfit toys or the island of offender. Okay.
Alcohol Island.
Margaritaville.
At some
gosh.
point, though, it would become its own. It would. At some point, it would become independent, like Australia did, and it'd be called like Alcoholica or something like that.
I was gonna say Drunk Island. I mean, that's a great place.
Oh
Well,
my.
that's
Lots of
Key
people headed
West,
that way
as
soon
Lindsay
for
just
spring
put
break.
it. Going to Drunk Island. Oh man, you know, I per our usual arrangement here, we've solved nothing.
No.
We have a few more minutes to try to solve something, but again, I just come back to the fact that the system and the way this is handled is just, it's broken at every level.
Yeah.
No, I don't
It just
disagree.
is- it just does not work. And
Nope.
They shouldn't have let him get. It shouldn't have been this
Yeah.
far along that they've
No.
done. No.
no,
And they
how
and they
does-
didn't do anything. Yeah. They
Yeah.
they didn't do anything anyway. So it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
no,
He's gonna
no, it
go
doesn't.
in for some weekends and
Oh, it's infuriating actually that people that have done wrong for so many years gets lighter punishments, but people that have messed up once or twice in their life get way harsh punishments. That's infuriating to me.
Mhm.
You know, thinking about this guy, the 5-time DUI guy, and how we punish it and how we handle it, he's got some serious problems that I wish somehow could have been identified with him earlier on and dealt with.
Yep.
Even beyond just like the punishment thing, like what's going on in this guy's life that alcohol is his main food group, you know? And why is it that somebody gets that far into it and nothing is done?
Yeah, it's probably the job for
Well, didn't he
a
get his
mental,
first
a
one in
mental diagnosis
1985 or
thing.
something? I mean,
85. Yeah.
Yep. 40 years ago.
Needs like a psychologist, a shrink
Wow.
type person.
He
Maybe.
needs something, but
Like I said,
I
he's
don't
way
know.
past the point of this being fun or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
he does to enjoy it.
No.
well, he didn't look like somebody who's lived a fun life.
No.
No.
I've
Look
seen people a lot more
worse to
worn than
wear.
him, but
Yep.
I didn't look at the same respect. I didn't look at him and go, "That's somebody who's led a good life." You can just see it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-week in jail is too soft. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
It,
I-
it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been a option for him to take weekend jail. It should have been standard time, if anything.
Do you guys at all recall what he did for work? Was that brought out? Because I don't remember.
Oh, it was mentioned, but it
Yeah.
didn't stick.
Hold on.
It was a blue collar job.
Yeah.
Ashley has notes on everything. She'll find out.
Yes, give me some time and I'll find it.
I'm curious because I don't recall it being like some miraculous, wonderful job or something
No.
that he was trying to
No.
protect.
But there was a lot of concern about him being able to work, and that was one of the big reasons why he was allowed to.
Bartender, very funny to him. If he were a bartender, I guarantee you that he's skimming off the bottles.
I'm
Oh.
looking. I haven't found it yet.
No, I was trying to remember what the motivation was for the probation.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of they were protecting his employment.
Yes.
But like what he didn't like stand out. And that's why they are all okay with it. But it's like it wasn't something like, oh, he's a pediatric cardiologist and surgeon and they desperately needed to save kids' lives. It was
Well, if he were that, he'd have to have his medical license taken away.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, that's just the thing. I'm wondering because I can't think of any job that would be so critical that this guy would have to have it.
Yeah.
That would justify him being out with this history of behavior.
Yeah, the only time I've really been okay with like weekend jail to protect employment is if like there was a restitution situation.
Yeah. Politician, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
You know,
A rigger.
Rigger of some sort.
Okay.
He was a rigger. Yeah. Oh no, probably an oil rigger, Dan.
Oh yeah, that area.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go all conspiracy, I guess. But then the question is, did somebody in the industry pay it off? And look,
Someone
I'm
in the
not
industry getting the lawyer. I don't know.
I'm not one to routinely walk down the conspiracy theory roads, but I wonder that, and I like Stevens, but I wonder that with Stevens ever since that one case where there was that young guy with all the kiddie stuff, where it looked like he was going to be sentenced real harshly, and then all of a sudden Stevens went and had a conversation with somebody. He came back, and the kid got a slap on the wrist, and it got
Like
taken out
executive
the scissor
session.
that night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you guys remember that case, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And we
Like it was yesterday.
we joked, but at the same time we were serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what happened there? Who got in Steven's ear over that?
We're still trying to get over that. I
And
think.
now that
So
you
the
say
question becomes, did somebody get in his ear on this one? I don't know. It makes me wonder.
Yep.
I don't know. The
But now
governor
that
interceded. I don't know.
I mean, he's
What
got to have
happened?
some kind of pull somewhere. If we're like 5, this is the 5th time, and
Yeah.
he's had someone tugging the strings. Clearly.
Now that you talk about if somebody in his ear, Stevens kind of had that same where he was going through it in his brain. First going to give him the max, and then all of a sudden it like loading, and then all of a sudden it was weekend jail.
It makes a whole lot more sense now. I'm glad somebody brought up the occupation.
Yep.
Oh, it's a question. Is that part of?
I think so.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, we've seen that behavior before, and that was the other time that he stepped away from his bench. He came back and totally gave something we weren't expecting. So
I mean, look, there's the money in that industry to pull that off. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
it doesn't specify what rigor
I don't
he
want to
is.
believe that, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm wondering. And Barbara, you didn't upset me at all. You're fine. But I think you'd learn from me by now, though, that if I have my convictions, I'm going to stand on them, and I'm going to uphold them, and I'm going to tell you what I think, and that's just the way that it is. But no, we're just having good discussion.
The beauty of this space is that we can have these discussions and disagreements, and at the end of the day, we're still civil about it.
Yep.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yep. This is the greatest group on YouTube.
Yep.
So no, you didn't upset me. Believe
And we
me,
love you, Barbara.
Believe me, you would know if I was upset. Ask Beth, ask Grandma TCF. You guys have never seen my upset, and you probably don't want to. I'm not upset.
Uh,
I'm just
I
insistent
don't-
about.
That way.
I'm just insistent about what I think.
I don't want bad side Dan. I'm good.
Well, I like this idea too.
I don't want bad side Dan.
I know how it is to be at bad side Ashley, so bad side Dan is equally frightening. So
Yeah.
yes.
Just ask that mayonnaise.
It might be the mayonnaise. Oh gosh.
That's a good question. Have you committed crimes against Mayo?
I think there's some people that will say there are crimes against Mayo here.
Right.
Mhm.
I think the Mayo has committed crimes against Ashley, though.
Yeah.
From what
You
I
are
gather.
sentenced to 10 years living at the Hellman's plant
Oh,
in the
Oh,
mayonnaise
smells?
department.
Can you
That would
imagine
be
how it
awful.
smells? Oh.
Can you imagine if that got misinterpreted? If you called 911 and you said something like, "I'm being abused by Mayo," and they misheard it as male, and they came to your house and arrested all the men?
Oh no.
How sad would that be? And you're all like, "No," as you come running out with the jar. No, just take the jar. Take the jar.
Hellman's.
If I even look at a jar of mayonnaise, I like shudder and like walk away. That's how bad it is.
I like you more after today, and I liked you a lot before.
I
But
don't
now
like
that
the
I know we're
consistency
aligned
either.
on
Ew.
Mayo, yeah,
Yes.
no,
Go ahead.
it's the devil's creation.
It's disgusting.
Michael, you missed a lively chat during the
You know, a lot of things that are made by the devil are actually good. That's why they're so tempting.
I think I'm going to get disowned by a lot of people in the chat,
Very
but I'm
true.
sorry. Mayo and me don't get along together. And that's just a personal beef.
I mean, Girl Scout cookies are
She doesn't
forged
eat
by
beef either.
Lucifer himself. I mean, and they're fantastic.
Now, Girl Scout cookies, those Thin Mints, I'm all for that.
heck yes.
Michelle.
Heck yes.
Yeah. Michelle just bought some Girl Scout cookies over here at the Sports Center, and
Go get
The
some.
season.
and she did not get Thin Mints, and I mean, she got some other ones that are fantastic, but Thin Mints are like, if it weren't a violation of God's law, I'd make them my
Yes.
wife. I mean, I love Thin Mints.
Like when Peter
Yes.
Griffin married the pie.
Oh. I didn't watch that one.
That's an option, I suppose.
That is an option.
Well, friends,
Yeah.
we've reached the end of our hour, and Barbara, thank you for the 5. Tim, thank you for the gifted membership. So the beauty of this space, as Michael tried to explain, is we don't always have to agree, but we will always be friends as we part
Yeah.
company. So
Yes.
there you go. But anybody got any final thoughts? I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear.
Ooh.
I mean, there's always just the old statement of maybe just don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
If you're gonna drink, call a ride.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
responsible.
second that motion. If you are gonna drink, call a ride or stay home. Do yourself a favor and other people a favor too, please. Thank you.
Michael, any final thoughts from the volleyball game at the sports ball arena?
Yes, yeah. So I went over to the other side of the sports center, so it would be a little quieter. There's like soccer practice going on over here, but yes, my final thought for tonight would be, well, I don't ever have to worry about it because I can't drive. I'm the designated drinker, so I'm fine with it. But I still say, even at that, moderation, folks. I mean, that's really, if you're gonna do it, moderation. You know, you don't have to go out and have 10 beers. And if you do, you know, Judge Fleischer, I think about him all the time. It's $20, $30, Uber, Lyft,
Yes.
taxi.
Yep.
Save yourself thousands of dollars and months, if not years, in prison. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Or
There you go.
family member, friend. Yes.
Significant
Think,
other.
think outside the box. Yes. Just not
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly.
Check to see if your state
Right.
has a thing where you talk to the bartender and they call a ride through
Heck yes, Wisconsin.
the tavern league or whatever.
Heck yes,
That's
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's
a thing.
cool.
Yes. Here in Wisconsin, if you feel too much and I think it's covered as well. I've
Yep.
never used it.
It's covered.
Very
Oh
cool.
my! I learned something. Cool.
Yep.
There you go. So I guess I do have a last thought, and it's this, and it's directed to Barbara. Barbara, I don't live in a world where if you don't agree with me, you're my enemy. I know that's very in vogue right now, especially in political spaces, but it's in vogue in all sorts of spaces where you either have to align fully with somebody or they're the devil. That is not my worldview. So do I still love you? Yes, I do. With that
I love you,
having been
Barbara.
said, we'll be back
We love
tomorrow
you,
morning.
Barbara.
Be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, half an hour early for channel members, and we'll be continuing with that trial that we started today.
Woo!
It did complete this afternoon. I have all of the footage, and it'll take up most of the show, so we'll be watching that.
Yay!
In the meantime, go have yourselves a good night. Take care. God bless.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.